horrendous pollution. By now, we are used to not wearing sweaters in November. We are used to Arctic towns registering 38 degrees temperatures. And we are used to European towns being almost as hot as Delhi in the summer. No one has to tell us that our planet is at boiling point. We feel it every day. Now scientists from the European Union are telling us that this year, 2023, is set to be the warmest in 1,25,000 years. I'm going to repeat that. Scientists from the European Union are telling us that 2023 is set to be the warmest year in 1,25,000 years. How do they even measure that? I'm putting that question to their lead scientist in just a bit. Data has already shown us that this September and October have been the hottest on record. Scientists from the European Union's Copernicus Climate Change Service say this is just the beginning, unless we mend our ways. Dr. Carlo Buontempo is joining me on the broadcast. Dr. Carlos, thank you very much for your time. You're the director of the Copernicus Climate Change Service at the ECMWF. And my first question to you is what many viewers will be asking. You are saying that this year is virtually certain to be the warmest in 1,25,000 years. How do you even measure something like that?
Yeah, so I guess there are two parts to my answer. The first part is what we can actually measure, and this goes back to the last 70 years. So from 1940 to 5 days ago, we can actually reconstruct the weather, the climate of the past, hour by hour, all over the globe, with different level of accuracy, but good enough to have a decent reconstruction of the global mean temperature over these 70 years. So, and in that sense, we are certain that what we are experiencing now is by far the warmest, so far 10 months period on record on these 70 years. And because of the size of the anomaly, we are very confident it will become the warmest year on record. Now, when you refer to the 125,000 years, or we refer to the 125,000 years, this is not about data we have ourselves, is looking at the broader context and what the climate scientists are telling us, even in the IPCC report. So if you put our observation, our time series going back to 1940, in the context of what we know of the previous centuries, then this year, the 2023, looks unusual when compared to the climate of the last 125,000 years. And the way in which we reconstruct the climate of the past is not through thermometers or radiosondes or satellite, because clearly they were not there. So these reconstructions are based on proxies, are based on the tree rings, are based on the sediment that we can find in the lakes, are based on the little bubbles of air that are contained in the glaciers. So these are proxies that allow us to reconstruct with larger uncertainty the climate of the past. But even with that uncertainty, what we are experiencing now is so much warmer than what could have happened in the past to make possible to make a statement like the one we made.
Now, before 2023, it was 2016. That was the warmest year on record. Can I ask you what 2023 did to beat 2016? Was it just El Nino, or was it something else as well?
Well, there are two. I mean, maybe I repeat myself, but there are two parts in this again, because one part is the fluctuation. You know, we know that every few years we have an El Nino event. An El Nino means a warming of the tropical Pacific, of the water of the tropical Pacific, and when we get an El Nino, the global mean temperature goes up. We are in an El Nino year. It was declared by WMO in July. It has been declared by all national Met services at different times through the years. And this is bringing the temperature up. But what makes 2023 so exceptional is the fact that this El Nino sits on top of a clear global warming trend. So as the IPCC say, all the land, all the continent have experienced a significant warming in the last few years, and 2023 is no exception at all. And if you look where the warming signal is coming from this year in 2023, is not just the tropical Pacific as it would be in a normal, if there weren't climate change. It's not just the tropical Pacific, it's not just El Nino. What's happening in the mid-latitude, in the northern hemisphere, especially what's happening in the United States, in Canada, in Europe, in Siberia, this actually is contributing to that warming signal significantly and differently from what happened in the past.
And my last question, and I think a logical one to end this chat with, is the worst here or is the worst to come when it comes to global warming?
Yeah, well, at times I've been asked whether this is the new normal, whether this is something we need to get used to. And my answer is, I wish it were the new normal, because it would mean that this is a plateau, that we can just adapt to this warming level and live with it. Unfortunately, this is just the beginning. So if we put our act together and we manage as a global society to reach the ambitious goal of the Paris Agreement and get to net zero soon, if we manage that is very, very challenging. But if we manage, then at the end of the century, we may be able to go back to the level as cold as 2023. So what will come next will almost certainly be warmer than what we have experienced so far.
Dr. Carlos, we'll leave it there for the moment. Thank you very much. European Union scientists now telling us that 2023 has beaten 2016 to become the warmest year in 1,25,000 years. Let's take a